everyone, and welcome to Price Lanes at Price's Corner in Wilmington for the championship round match in the 1997 Delaware Top 20 Women's Tournament. Len Holmquist in company with Ward Novak, the secretary of the Wilmington Bowling Association. Sometimes he'd like to be secretary of the Women's Association as well, but we've got some outstanding women who are going to be bowling for all the marbles in this year's Top 20 tournament. And here to start it is Tricia Renshaw. An interesting first round match in the stepladder finals, Ward, because these two young ladies are not only outstanding talents, and they've got a lot of years in front of them. They're 24 and 25 years of age, but they're also really, really, really close friends.
Yes, they are. Len, they bowled this year in the state ABC tournament, and I believe they also bowled in the state in the Wilmington Women's Bowling Association tournaments as teammates and doubles partners. So they know each other's game pretty well.
Tricia opening with the solid strike to begin the match. This is stepladder style. As you can see, Gary Trumbore is working and manning the computer controls here at Price Lanes. This is the first of 4 matches in the stepladder finals. The other 3 contestants that will be participating in this championship competition, and we'll tell you a little bit about how they got here. Debbie Quesenberry, Sue Turchen, and our leading qualifier in this year's event, Kim Bowers. Kim is also the defending Top 20 tournament champion, winning here the last time the tournament was held 2 years ago, 1995. Tina Crouse from Chesapeake City. She is the reigning average champion in Delaware. She won it by a very narrow margin over Melissa Lewis by about 3/10 of a pin.
I think it was 100th of a pin. I think it was actually 209 point something, and it was 100th of a pin, Len. It was probably the closest average race down to the wire we've ever had.
Opening frame shot for Tina, and the nerves, I think, are showing here early for Tina. I know that Friday night, when the competition began, Friday night, May the 31st, at Bowlorama in Newcastle, Tina was very, very nervous. And I think one of the problems with bowling in this competition, right after being crowned Queen of Average in Delaware, a lot of pressures on you.
Oh, sure. I think anytime you get any kind of title, immediately thereafter, people look for you to continue to participate at that level, and you're kind of in a lose-lose. If you don't, everybody thinks you've kind of lost it, and if you do, you were expected to. So, yeah, it makes it kind of tough.
And one of the things that a lot of people who don't really know a lot of the intricacies of bowling, bowling is a hot and cold sport. You can be very hot at one time in your season and very cold at another time, and it can,
from one week to the next, Len.
From day to day.
That's it.
From game to game. Tina, by the way, coming back after that open frame with a solid strike, and Tricia Renshaw working on an opening strike, and she'll have a little bit of work left for her, leaving the 1-2-8, not one of the easier spares that you want to go after.
There is an interesting thing about tonight's field for the women. You'll notice when we get into this that 4 of the 5 women in the finals have all rolled 300 games in Delaware, so that's quite a feat in itself. Tricia has the state's record with 848, highest 3-game series ever rolled in the state, one of 3 women to do so.
And one of the others is our tournament leader, Kim Bowers. Good friends, Tina and Tricia, but they want to win when the pins are standing in front of them. Oh, pocket 4-9, and that'll take the starch out of your shirt in a hurry.
Sure will, especially when you feel like you threw the ball really well. Tricia is playing about the 3rd arrow, giving the ball a little bit of swing, getting the reaction on the back end, and the ball just finished real strong through the heads.
I've had the pleasure of watching Trish come up through the junior ranks over the years, and she will maintain composure. Nothing seems to bother her.
You know, I've bowled with Trish, and she's a competitor, and she keeps her wits about her, keeps the ball in play.
But she goes open. So that will open things up just a little bit for Tina, who got off to a shaky start, to pull herself together and get back in this one. This is the opening match of the stepladder finals of the 97 Delaware Top 20 Women's Championship event, conducted at 3 bowling centers. This is the finals at Price Lanes, and Tina is all over that pocket.
Yeah, after that opening miss, she's put up a double, so she's back in the match. You'll notice, too, that Trish is playing around the third arrow, as I mentioned. Tina's coming in a little bit more from the outside, playing more up about the first arrow, letting the ball finish.
Both of these young ladies, Tina's only 24, Tricia's only 25. They are very, very good friends. They participate in the Eastern Regional Circuit known as WASA, the Women's All-Star Association. They get involved in a lot of heated competition, but none as heated maybe as this match between these two good friends.
No, I think the last 3 shots have shown Tina making an adjustment, and now you understand why she has the top average in the state for the women.
Both of these young ladies, by the way, spend an awful lot of time at their sport, bowling, and they're not married. It's hard to keep a boyfriend when you bowl as much as they do. Dead in the pocket for Tricia. She bounces back.
Notice both of them stay behind the ball. They're both using fingertip grips. They stay behind the ball, get a lot of forward roll and momentum on the ball when they release it, and they're staying low at the foul line, so they're just throwing super shots. One thing I notice is that both of them have tape players down here. So in between shots, they're coming back, trying to take all the outside noise away from the match, staying well concentrated within themselves.
Tricia will try to double up here on 3. In the pocket, leaves at 4 again. Troublesome 4-9 2 frames ago. This time, just the 4 stands. Tina got started bowling in 1979. Tricia was about 7 years old, and that goes back quite a ways. She's only 25 now. And what a wealth of competition experience. As she whistles by the 4-pin, and she knows that with Tina on a string, she can't afford to do that. We'll be back with more of this opening game competition between good friends Tina Crouse and Tricia Renshaw in the stepladder finals of the 97 Delaware Women's Top 20 tournament in just a moment. I don't know. She's probably got a better shot of making this one.
Maybe.
She's just so much fun to watch. Couldn't care less about her bowling. Here she goes.
All right.
Looks good. Down the center. Brooklyn
this.
strike. Oh. Almost got her dad out of trouble. Good looking shot by Tricia.
She can go home and tell her daddy, Dad, you took the choke.
That's right, because I got the strike and then you couldn't get one. And that's the way it was, folks. Gary looking for a strike, and he can't get the corner pins to
and
go
we
for
have
it.
a makeable spare for a change. Okay. All right, Trish, show them how it's done.
Trish is really she loves the bowl. 4th grader at McCullough School in Newcastle, and she's going to
lean on it.
Just can't get that 10 to go.
What goes on inside the brain of a pitcher like John Smoltz? How does he...
Len Holmquist in company with Ward Novak back at Price Lanes, where Tina Crouse is trying to string a 4-bagger and has done so in this opening stepladder championship match against good friend Tricia Renshaw. Tricia just going by a 4-pin, something that she could ill afford to do with her good friend on a string, and that string has now been strung out to 4 consecutive frames. So after a very shaky start for Tina, she has composed herself and got it all together, and now working on a 5-bagger.
Well, Len, watching them bowl, I think we've noticed too that the center of the lane seems to be kind of tight, and that first frame spare was a cross lane shot that Tina had to make. And now she's back in the pocket, and she just looks like she's got the killer instinct.
Gets the 10 pin to go. And the heat is now definitely on Tricia. I remember Tricia running around this bowling center as a youngster many years ago when I used to run a lot of handicap tournaments in the area. And her mom, Sue Renshaw, her dad, Gary Renshaw, they're very, very behind her. Extremely supportive parents, and she comes back off that unfortunate miss of a 4-pin to pocket 10.
I think that just goes back to some of the things that you see with this match is as good as anything you'll see on Channel 6 on the weekends.
Oh, absolutely.
That's just one of those cases where you put that shot behind you and try to make the best one you can the next frame.
Well, here we're sitting in the month of June. I know when September rolls around, both of these young ladies will be participating with the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour stop at Bowlorama, the 9th annual Columbia 300 Delaware Open coming up. And Tricia, of course, would like to string a lot of hits like that in tournament competition when the Ladies Tour comes for another visit to Delaware in the fall. But right now, the story of this game is this young lady, Delaware's leading average champion, just crowned recently, and on a 5-bagger, looking to just continue to put the heat on her good friend Tricia, and she now has left the door open a little bit if she cannot make this difficult spare, the 1-2-10.
That one she played out a little bit wider than she has her 5 strikes, and I think left that 1-2-10 washout shot.
It'll be interesting to see how she does attack it. Of course, you want to slide the head pin over into the 10, and doesn't get much of an effort on that head pin, so she does go open, and she will now count through 7 frames, 153 with the open. That does leave the door open for Tricia.
Still has her running at a 210 clip though, so she's in pretty good shape here.
Tina, by the way, came into the match play competition of this tournament in 8th place and had to pick up 3 places to make it here to the championship finals. Seemed to slip a little bit on the approach as she let the ball go, and now has really left things open for Tricia.
Yeah, I think that shot put Trish right back in the match.
6, 7, 10 is very, very difficult to convert. She'll give it a run and almost gets them all down. But her count will now go to 162 through 8. And with Tricia working on a double, she is. With those 2 open frames by Tina just a moment ago, back in the match. Now she has to capitalize on it. Let's see if she pockets. She does.
Yeah, she threw that ball really, really well. You could see that she really wanted that one badly and stayed down with the shot, got through it, and it was just an excellent shot in the pocket.
Tricia with a 300 game, as Ward alluded to a little earlier. She has a high series of 848. In 1994, she won the Delaware Top 20 tournament title. By the way, her 848 last year when she shot it, 2nd highest in the nation, not in the state. 1st high in the state for all time right now, but 2nd highest in the nation last year. And she gets the 4-9 to collapse for her, and she's got herself a 4-bagger. And now we're going to get to see a little bit about what Tina Crouse is made of.
Yep.
Tina's high series, by the way, is a 758. She does have a 300 game. And she counters with a strike of her own.
That was an excellent shot. She's playing a little bit out to in down the lane, and that washout she left last time on the right lane, she played straight up. So I think she knows what she did wrong, and she's right back on it.
We have a little bio sheet on both of these young ladies, and both of them write that the reason they bowl is they just really enjoy the competition, and they are really competing here in this opening match of our top 20 finals. Tina needs to double here. Is going to be on the head, and just really shot herself in the foot with a bad shot.
Yeah, she really yanked up on that one. I think a couple frames ago you mentioned that she had a little bit of trouble with the approach, and that may be playing a little bit with what she's thinking.
She'll go for her count and not get anything, and now finishes up with a score of 186, and that's not going to be enough to advance in this stepladder finals.
Our next match is going to have Debbie Quesenberry from third place. She's a 30-year-old single lady from Wilmington. Used to, as a matter of fact, I think last year she was a full-time player on the women's tour.
This is not going to deter Tricia at all, because she's already got enough pin count to win this match.
No, she doesn't.
No, she doesn't either.
No, she doesn't.
You're right.
She
As I
needs
look
to
up the
count on
score,
this.
she needs to count. She has 161 through 8, striking the 9th and this difficult spare here in the 10th, but needs to count and makes the
She
spare.
makes an excellent shot. That was a super shot.
That's a nice way to wrap up the match.
I'm not sure that it'll necessarily be a confidence builder, but it's certainly a great way to go out. At least she didn't back into this.
And she's going to finish with 200 or better if she can strike. 201 can be her top score. Tina sits on the bench. The loser in this match with a final count of 186.
200 right on the nose, Len.
200 to 186 in a match that seesawed just a little bit. And Tricia will advance. Tina goes to the sideline, and Debbie Quesenberry is up next. And we'll be right. Welcome back to Price Lanes as our continuation coverage of the Stepladder Championship Finals of the 1997 Delaware Top 20 Women's Tournament. Tricia Renshaw has won her opening match, defeating good friend Tina Crouse 200 to 186. And next up is Debbie Quesenberry. Debbie is the number 3 seed, and she has chosen to let Tricia start on the left lane, lane number 3 here at Price Lanes. A little high on the head pin. We were between matches watching her Ward test some other lines here on 3 and 4, but she continues to stay with that inside line.
Yeah, that one seemed to work for her really well. She got into a little bit of trouble very early in the match and then threw those 4 strikes in a row. So I think right now she's pretty comfortable with that, knows what's going to happen, and it's a good place to stay.
Yeah, seemed to let up just a little bit on that opening shot.
Yeah.
But that'll happen after you go away for a break. Covers her 2-pin spare. And now we'll introduce to you for the first time Debbie Quesenberry. Debbie is a member of the Ladies Professional Bowlers Tour. Travels the country trying to earn her keep on the professional circuit. She is from the Wilmington area, however. And you're going to see a very interesting release. Watch her release. Boy, she really packs 10 on that opening shot. But Ward, she's got one of the most unique releases of anybody I've ever seen in bowling. And she tells me that it comes because she used to play so much softball in high school.
Yeah, if you watch her, it's kind of reminiscent a little bit of Ron Williams from the men's tour. If you see it, it's a little bit, she's got that bent elbow as the follow-through comes through, and she gets a lot of good action on the ball.
Just watch the hand release. It's very unique. Gets it out a little bit wide, and going to have a washout to try to pick up. Debbie is back here in town for the Top 20 tournament itself. As I said in our first match, the competition got underway on Friday night, May 31st at Bowlerama. The entire field of women and men bowling 8 games of qualifying. On Saturday, the competition moved to, that was May 30th, the Friday. On the 31st, on Saturday, the competition moved to, can't cover the spare, moved to Holiday Lanes in Claymont for 8 more games of qualifying, after which the field, the men's field, which we'll talk about when we do the finals of the men's competition, cut to the top 10 for match play here at Price Lanes. The women's field was cut to the top 8, and Tricia is dead in the pocket. has a nice loose arm swing.
Yeah, you'll notice too, I just noticed on that last camera shot, Trish starts with her shoulders open a little bit, has a nice straight backswing. By opening up her shoulders, she keeps her hips and her legs out of the way, and then she closes up and gets a lot of power when she comes through with the release.
Tricia has to her credit, a WASA title, the Women's All-Star Association, which is very competitive here in the East with about 14 all. A little bit left, but she'll take it. The bowling gods giveth, and the bowling gods at times taketh away. That time they give it.
When you compete at this level, you always feel kind of bad when you catch a shot like that. You'd like them all to be picture perfect, but they sure do count the same.
Debbie seeming to have a little bit of a problem at the foul line as she let that ball go. She kind of looked down at her foot real quick. She may be experiencing some sticking or sliding problems. We'll have to watch it as the match goes along. Debbie's the only one in our top 5 field without a perfect game, but she's right there at it at 299.
Yeah, you can't get much closer than that without being there.
And she has that one go off her hand a little bit. Seems to be having just a little bit of a problem with the ball, with that interesting release that she has, but she does cover the spare, and she is sticking. That's the indication that she is given, that she is sticking a little bit at the line, and that's probably, you know, a lot of people don't understand the average person who goes out to bowl. You don't really worry about sticking or sliding so much at the line as you do in this kind of competition. It can really, really throw your game off. And again, she's having problem with, I don't know whether it's with the approaches here at the lanes or with maybe her shoe.
I did notice, we had talked a little bit earlier, the state men's tournament was held here at Price's earlier in the month, and in May, and we did notice that there were a couple nights where the approaches seemed to be a little bit slippery, so I'm not really sure whether she's sticking or sliding. And if she is, sometimes when you rear back, you just can't stay with a shot.
And now she really cost herself by chopping the 6 off the 10, and did not want to do that this early in the match with Tricia, her opponent, on a double. Even though the last of those 2 strikes, not exactly picture perfect. Calling for a 3-bagger. 10-pin will stand.
Well, you might remember what you said about the bowling gods giving and the bowling gods taking away. Well, I think they just took one away there.
Yeah, it kind of balances out. At this level of competition, sometimes you don't believe in that spirit, but it's there. Yeah. Now let's see her go with the Columbia Rage ball across lane. It's a hard shell ball. She's got that 10-pin down. Second match in our 97 Delaware Top 20 Women's Championship competition. Tricia defeating Tina Crouse in the opening match as Tina's game left her late in the match. Tricia coming on and winning 200 to 186. And that time she's dead on, where she had gone a little bit left in the previous frame on lane 3. She is dead in the pocket. Debbie Quesenberry 55 through 4. Tricia 89 in the 4th with a strike up in the 5th, and we'll be back in just a moment. As he sits over behind Debbie.
Debbie really has to do something quick here. Pressure's on her. A little bit wide.
And a good response.
Ball fed right into the pocket that time. She was out a lot further that time. The ball fed right up.
The thing I liked about that, you didn't see it. You could hear her in the background, but Rita Justice was leading the cheers.
That's good.
Remember, she's of the distaff side, so.
This is a key shot for her. She really needs this one.
On 3.
Okay.
She's got it.
She's going to make a game out of it.
Yes, she is. She gets to finish up. 29-pin advantage for Kevin Justice as he
back at Price Lane. Second match of our stepladder finals of the 97 Delaware Top 20 Women's Championship competition. Debbie Quesenberry trying to come back off of a open frame and will have to knock down the 7-pin to mark here. She continues to have problems with her footing. We've talked about that earlier. Len Holmquist in company with Ward Novak, secretary of the Wilmington Men's Association. I think I tried to introduce you earlier as secretary of both associations, men and women.
No, can't do that. Barbara Barsley is our women's secretary, and she most likely would get very upset.
Don't we have gender equity, though, in bowling now, pretty much?
With ABC.
With ABC, but not WIBC. Debbie going by on the left side. Nerves may be getting her, and of course she's having that footing problem, too, and that is really a difficult situation when you're not comfortable throwing the ball. When your footing is not there, certainly it really messes up your timing and then works to downgrade everything from there.
I think at this point Debbie's just real upset with her performance. Normally you can try to adjust to something like this, but when you're having trouble sliding or you're having trouble getting the ball off your hand, it just it makes it for a very long game. You just hope that 10 frames gets over real quick.
Debbie started her bowling as a youngster right here at Price Lanes. Nice cover on the ticket fence, +1. And here's the young lady of the hour right now, Tricia. 89 through 4 with a strike up in the 5th. And she'll try to put some more distance between her score and her opponent, Debbie. A little late and can't get the 2-pin to cooperate.
You might have noticed that time she got the ball down a little bit early. It got into the oil a little bit sooner than she anticipated, and the ball didn't react on the back end like she would have wanted, and that resulted in the light hit.
Can you give us an idea, Ward, from what you've seen so far, of maybe what the conditioning, the oil conditioning for this championship pair was like?
Judging from what it looks like, I know, again, I mentioned that we had our state tournament here, and I know that the management of the bowling center, Dan Sandridge, is just recently starting using a new oil called Legends Oil. It was developed by a couple of the lane men from the PBA Tour, and it's a little bit thicker, and it takes some getting used to in the application area. But right now, it looks like they've got a really, really playable shot. We've seen about 4 different lines played on this pair, and it seems like everybody's finding a way to get to the pocket. But it looks like there is a heavier application in the center. The heads are holding the shot very well, and the back ends are dry and reacting.
4-pin left standing for Tricia. I will say by our camera angle that the Coca-Cola bottling company is getting its fair play of airtime. We'll have to talk to them next year about sponsorship in this event.
I think that would be outstanding.
Well, I know that during the men's state tournament this year, you had sponsorship for the first time.
Yes, we did. We were fortunate to have Budweiser offer some sponsorship money along with the Wilmington Women. Yeah, now I'm doing it. You got me doing it now. The Wilmington Bowling Association and the Lower Delaware Men's Bowling Association. So hopefully this is one of the ways that you can build up your prize fund a little bit.
And prize funds do bring out the bowlers.
Absolutely.
And I think you're right. I think Debbie is just trying to get this match over with and get out of the way and let Sue Turchen, who is the number 2 seed, have her shot at Tricia Renshaw.
Yeah, the number 4 seed, and right now, based on the way things are going, it looks like Debbie's going to finish in the 4th spot. Debbie will cash for $100. The loser of the last match, Tina Crouse, cashed for $90.
But you know, Ward, more than money, this is prestige, this event.
Absolutely. I think this and the ABC tournaments that are held and the WIBC tournaments, they're more for the prestige, being the state champion, than the cash involved.
One of the pluses for the winner in our championship round competition here is a paid entry into the upcoming this fall Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour stop at Boulderama in Newcastle, the 9th annual Columbia 300 Delaware Open. We do know that Debbie will be there because she's a member on tour with the Ladies Tour. Just having a bad match here against Tricia Renshaw. We'll go Brooklyn. We'll count them all down. She doesn't like to get a strike that way, but at this stage of the match, with things going the way they are against her, she'll take it. Tricia Renshaw on her way to a second victory, won over Tina Crouse to start our competition, 200 to 186.
We mentioned that that most of our ladies are members of the Wilmington Women's Bowling Association, and Tricia's actually won. They have a tournament every year for their folks that have 600 series during their career, the Queen Pin tournament, and Tricia's won that twice.
One more time, I think she can retire the...
It's the hat trick.
Yeah. And the 10 pins covered. You know, so often, Ward, when you say you watch the PBA or the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour on TV, you'll watch them do a little bit of an adjustment with their release and the ball in picking up those corner pins. They'll kill the ball. They'll get underneath of it, but Tricia doesn't really do that much. She still stays with her normal release, or as much as close to it as possible.
It's one of the things that you do when you change equipment. If you change to a harder shell ball, you can try to keep your normal release, but get the ball to slide farther. This one really took up early and went through the head pin and left her with a split.
Seemed to come up just a little bit on the release, but she's got this match well in hand, counting 164 through the 8th. Whatever count she'll have in this frame will probably be 9 and give her a 173, and she's outdistancing Debbie right now.
Yeah, if Debbie strikes out from here, her best game will be 179.
Debbie travels the country with one of the top stars on the ladies tour, Tish Johnson. Tish in her mobile home. Oh, unfortunate break, 4-9 for Debbie. Tish, of course, is a staff member for Columbia 300, and I noticed that Debbie is wearing a Columbia shirt, and also the Sam's Town logo is on the shirt. Sam's Town, of course, the umbrella sponsor of the Ladies Professional Bowlers Tour. And she puts it right between. They still call that a field goal, no matter at what level, what competition you're in.
That's correct.
That's a field goal.
Unfortunately, we still don't get the 3 points for it. I wish we could,
No.
because a lot of us would be playing that shot.
Tricia is on her way to a second victory.
That's a much better shot by Debbie. Still hooked up a little bit on her. I don't think she's able to get the leverage at the line to get the speed that she's looking for.
No, she ran into problems at the line early with sticking or sliding, and it kind of played with her head as much as anything. And once you're in that situation, you are, well, actually, one of the problems is, Ward, you're fearful of what you're going to do physically at the line.
Well, if you're slipping, it can be a bad situation because you can wrench your back or hurt your back. If you're sticking, you have that fear that you're going to fall down. And trust me, with the new conditioners that are on the lane, if you go past the foul line, you're going to slide a very long way.
Tricia Renshaw, remember, she won this title in 1994, the Delaware Women's Top 20 Tournament. Leaves herself an 8-10 split, but that won't worry her none whatsoever because she's easily got this match in hand. Tricia is going to win match number 2, and she'll be facing Sue Turchen, the number 2 seed, when we return to Price Lanes with our continuing coverage of the 1997 Ladies Top 20 Tournament Championship Round. We'll be back in a moment. And again, welcome back to Price Lanes for the continuation of the Stepladder Championship Round competition in the 97 Delaware Women's Top 20 Tournament. And this is Susan Turchen, the number 2 seed, who is going to lead off in this semifinal match. And our camera got a little fuzzy, and her ball got a little fuzzy and left one pin.
Sue just made a comment before we started this match that she was throwing a couple practice balls before we started, and her comment was, well, I hit the head pin, I'm ready to go. So
she did hit the head pin again.
She did hit the head pin.
Len Holmquist in company with Ward Novak, the secretary of the Wilmington Bowling Association. We'll tell you a little bit about Sue Turchen as our game goes along, and she's going to just
a bit outside, as Bob Euchre would say.
Here's the young lady who has won 2 matches so far, victorious over Tina Crouse, the number 5 seed. Tricia coming in as the number 4 seed, and then she defeated the number 3 seed just a moment ago, Debbie Quesenberry, and now goes against Sue Turchen. And these, you know, the nice thing about this top 5, being that it is a very small state anyway, Ward, they really need no introduction to each other because they know each other so well from competing against each other, not only local competition, but WASA circuit, the regional play of the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour, even some of the national stops on tour.
That's true, Len. And Sue, Trish, and Tina Crouse have all bowled as teammates, along with Andy Whitlock. So they're all pretty familiar with everybody, and they know pretty much what the game looks like, and they can pick out when they get in trouble.
And you know, they'll help each other. That's the one nice thing. They will help each other. If they see a flaw, they see something happening, they'll talk to each other about it.
Every day but today, I think.
Yes, every day but today. You're right. Speaking of Andy Whitlock, Tina Crouse defeated her in the knockdown, the position round, to make this stepladder final. Of course, she has been dispatched to the sideline already by Tricia Renshaw. Tricia also sent Debbie Quesenberry to the sideline.
And this isn't unusual for Trish. We know that she won the 1994 Top 20 tournament, so this isn't virgin territory for Trish anyway.
And she'll cover her spare. So the strikes aren't coming early in this match. Sue opened with a spare. Tricia with a couple of spares. Tricia counted quite a few strikes in her opening 2 wins. And she'll hope to find the strike line again very shortly. What a resume for Sue Turchen. She has not one but 4 WASA titles. And Ward, I don't know whether there's our first strike of this semifinal match. I don't know whether you've ever had the chance to take in much of the WASA action, but I'll tell you what, the competition is very, very good. It's not a long, drawn-out competition over 3 or 4 days. It's mostly single tournaments back-to-back on weekends. They run about 14 to 16 a year, and the competition is very, very fierce.
Normally the WASA tournaments, Len, are set up such that they get a lot of the women's pro players in the area. It's almost like a regional tour. So the competition's pretty stiff, and you get to bowl against the best bowlers in the East.
And what will happen is you bowl your qualifying, which is generally 6 games. You bowl 3 more games in semifinal play. They don't have any match play until they get after the qualifying is done and semifinals are done. So you'll end up bowling about 15 games or 16 games in a day. And that's a little tiring on the body, even for a youngster like Sue Turchen. And she's the oldest of our top 5. Sue will have the difficult 5-7 split. Looks like she's going to get it. Good shot by Sue Turchen with a round of applause.
Well, we found out that people are here, Len.
Yes, they are.
Boy, that woke them up.
You know, our camera angle may not sense it, but we have a lot of people taking in our stepladder finals of this Delaware Top 20 Women's Championship competition. Tricia Renshaw, 25 years of age, and she won't make this split.
This was the same shot, the same lane, and the 10th frame of the last game. You'll remember that she threw the ball and left the same 8-10.
Why do you leave the 8-10 on a what looks like such a good pocket hit?
Sometimes the ball's still sliding a little bit. You didn't lift it quite as much. A lot of times, to tell you the truth, the bowler knows as soon as the ball comes off their hand that they're in trouble.
She'll go for the 10-pin. Tries to bang it off the wall, but it will not come across, and she goes open. Didn't want to do that with Sue getting her strike and then a mark with a spare. So
with Sue's four WASA titles, she certainly knows how to put the ball in the pocket, so I'm pretty certain she's going to try to take advantage of that opening.
And of course, those of you who follow local bowling, and Tricia comes back strong with a strike, will remember last year that Sue was a finalist in the Columbia 300 Delaware Open, the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour event, when it was held at Holloway Lanes. And she'll no doubt be involved in the competition again this year. The winner of this competition will receive a paid entry into the 9th annual Columbia 300 Delaware Open, which will be held at Boulderama in Newcastle from September 6th through the 11th, with another large Pro-Am. And Sue Turchen counters Tricia's strike with a strike of her own in the 4th frame.
180-36, 180-36.
That's just one of the terminologies in bowling that you just heard announced behind us. 180 on 36. What that means is that the rack, the sweep, is down in the front. There are generally no pins behind it, but the sweep won't go back. So they tell the mechanic in the back. We're giving them a lot of byplay here, Ward, on what goes on in bowling. A little behind-the-scenes work. But
we had a little bit of help on that, I think.
Sue Turchen's got some work in her bowling ball as she gets the Moses shot.
Okay, I think I've seen something that Sue's doing. The first strike she got, she was a little bit light and got a head pin action.
We're going to take a break and resume with this semifinal match between Sue Turchen and Tricia Renshaw in just a moment.
Tricia can take a commanding lead. She got through the ball real good. Will it get there? Excellent shot. Excellent shot. First turkey of the match. 3 strikes in a row for Tricia Renshaw, playing that extreme outside line. And it's all important. Young bowlers that want to play out there, you must keep your wrist behind the ball and get extension on the follow through. And Tricia right now is doing it as good as it can be done. Solid in the pocket, 4 in a row. Good extension right through the...
To demonstrate.
We're back at Price Lanes. Tricia Renshaw on a strike in the 4th frame. On lane 4, we'll try to double up. And she's got all 10 of the pit. And this one appears, Ward, to be warming up.
Yeah, I think both of the bowlers have made adjustments now. Trish left at 8-10 the last time on the right lane, and I think what's happening is there's a little bit of carry down. I noticed that Trish has tucked in some. She's moved over about 2 or 3 boards on the lane, so she's getting that dry play area on the back.
And when you say carry down, what are you talking about?
What's happening is it's kind of like having a puddle of water on a table and you run your finger through it, and the more you do that, the longer out that water tracks. It's the same thing with a bowling ball going through the lane conditioner. It pushes that oil down the lane.
Tricia Renshaw on 3, a little high. Does break up the split, and we'll have the 6-10 left. Little promotional work for our radio friends in Philadelphia.
6-10.
6-10. Semi-final match. The winner of this one will meet our top seed in this year's top 20 tournament, Kim Bowers, who was trying to successfully defend her title. She won it here the last time the top 20 tournament was held in 1995 at Price Lanes. Tricia covering her spare, trying to figure out exactly why she left that double count just a moment ago. Sue Turchen got started the way a lot of people get started. Mom and Dad got her started, got her involved in the sport of bowling. And as of late, she's been getting some great instruction by a gentleman. There's a turkey for Sue Turchen.
That was a late hit again on the right lane. She caught the head pin coming back to break up the 5-7.
But she knew where she wanted to play it before, because the same reaction 2 frames ago on the same lane, so she played it that way. Steve Myers, who is one of the better instructors in the area, has been working a lot with Sue on her game lately. And it has paid off handsomely. Trying to make it 4. 10-pin won't cooperate.
Sue has really good footwork too. You'll notice that her steps are almost exactly the same length, and she seems to take her time. Her feet don't get fast. She approaches the game really well, and I think you're right. Steve's instructions have really paid off well. Sue's just bowling super.
Covers her 10-pin and will count 139 through the 6th and a spare in the 7th. Tricia's got a little bit of work ahead of her now to try to catch up. She is the winner of 2 matches so far in a tougher bit of competition here in match number 3. Stands up in front of it, but gets all 10 pins to go down.
Yeah, she is definitely playing a deeper line than she did the first 2 games, Len.
Counts 113 through the 6th with a strikeout. So she's basically 16 pins down to Sue Turchen, but still a lot of time left in this semifinal match. 25-year-old with a lot of talent and a lot of years in front of her to do a lot with that talent.
That was a
Gets
super
the
shot.
10 pin to carry out. I'll tell you what, that deep inside line, if you can get that 10 pin to cooperate, you're going to make a lot of strikes. Sue has a couple of important dates coming up here in 1997. Sue Turchen will be inducted into the WWBA Hall of Fame this year, and also the Delaware State Women's Association Hall of Fame for her great work, great talent in bowling.
I think that may have only happened one or two times where the inductee is taken into the state and to the local Hall of Fames at the same time. She can share that, I guess, with Ernie Schlegel. He went into the PBA Hall of Fame and the ABC Hall of Fame this year.
Here's one for her son Joey, maybe, with the 10 pin covered. Sue got started bowling when she was just a young lady of 12. She is married. Her hubby Joe is the head mechanic at Holiday Lanes in Claymont. They do have one child, Joey, and he's going to be a bowler too. He already is a bowler, but he'll plan to be a much more of a bowler as the years roll along.
I don't know how he can be much more of a bowler than Sue. I mean, she's won everything she's touched.
Again, the light hit. This time the 10 pin won't carry. Wanted that one to go down. She counts 177 through the 8th, and will try to make it a spare here in the 9th. Still hasn't shut Tricia out in this semifinal match. Trish working on a double. Will be up in a moment on 4. Switches balls and goes for the 10 pin. Covers it easily. She's got herself a nice clean game going so far, except for early on. Tricia Renshaw, 113 through the 6th frame, but she does have a double in the 7th and 8th. Will try to make it a 3-bagger. In the pocket, 10 pin. Will not go. And again, that's that deep inside line. Sometimes the 10 will carry. Sometimes you can't get it out of there.
Yeah, she threw a really strong shot, and the 6 pin just went up and around the 10 pin, leaving her with a easy spare shot. I say easy spare shot. That's usually a black cat statement.
212 is the best that she can do. Will go after the 10 pin, keeps it on the lane, and we'll try to post that 202 score. And basically, Sue Turchen just needs to mark in the 10th frame to win this semifinal match and go into our title match against number 1 seed Kim Bowers. Now Trish is going to go out in style anyway.
Well, she can double up and go out with 212 here, Len, so the game's really not over yet.
Yeah, you're right. I was missing the 10 pin count from earlier, the earlier strike. .182 with that first strike in the 10th frame. This is homegrown territory for Trish Renshaw. She went through the junior program. Her mom in the yellow shirt sitting behind watching her. Looked like she hit her leg a little bit on that shot on the downswing. Hit something on the side of her body, and it didn't come off her hand clean. And the best she'll be able to do now is 202. I may have jinxed her a moment ago when I said 202 was the score. She could have gone out with 212. There's Sue Renshaw. She's not happy. Tricia's probably not pleased right now that she didn't get that second strike.
I don't think Tricia has anything to be ashamed of. She's thrown 3 super games and worked her way up to 3rd spot here.
She'll walk off with a little bit of money, but of course she would have liked to have gone on and won a second top 20 title, but that's not going to happen. This young lady here, Sue Turchen, is going to be the winner and go against Kim Bowers. And that just locked it up, even though all 10 did not fall. And we'll be back with the title match in the 1997 Delaware Top 20 Women's Championship Tournament It'll be Sue Turchen against Kim Bowers when we return to Price Lanes in just a moment.
This portion of the
Well, we are back belatedly at Price Lanes for our championship match. You heard them clapping in the background and cheering in the background, and they cheered as Sue Turchen to open this title match against Kim Bowers with a strike. Len Holmquist in company with Ward Novak. Title match, and our defending champion of the top 20 tournament title, and Kim Bowers will try to make it 2 in a row, and comes in a little bit light on her opening hit. She'll get the nerves out, she'll get the footing down, and it'll be smooth sailing from then on out, right, Ward?
I don't think that's going to be a question. The other matches have proven to be outstanding.
Last match, semifinal match, Sue Turchen with a string of strikes to win it 205 to 202. Could have been worse, but she missed a 10-pin in the 10th frame, and as she missed it, her vanquished Tricia Renshaw said to her, "Now you missed it." She had made a couple of other 10 pins earlier. Good cover by Kim Bowers on the spare shot. Kim is a mommy of 2. Her hubby Mark Bowers is a regular player on the PBA circuit. Kim has 2 children, Alicia, young lady.
Kim's also one of 3 women in the state that have had an 800 3-game series.
813. And a 300 game. Studies the line and pulls it a little bit left. Knew it wasn't good when it left her hand, and she'll have a little work left to do. Kim won the top 20 tournament title last time the top 20 was held 2 years ago in '95, and it was held here at Price Lane, so she's very familiar with these lanes. As a matter of fact, she went through the youth program a few years ago, more than a few years ago here at Price Lanes. Came to become a bowler in the youth program through her mom and dad.
And she's now still actively involved in the bowling industry. She's over at Brookside Bowl.
Doing marketing and promotion work for John Racine and doing a very fine job. She covers the single pin, so she's opened with back-to-back spares. Sue Turchen, of course, working on a strike in the opening frame. The winner of this will take home a little bit of cash, $440, plus an entry into the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour Columbia 300 Delaware Open coming up in September at Bowl-O-Rama. But more importantly, Ward, the distinction of winning this title and the bragging rights that go with it.
Absolutely. It's one of the biggest amateur tournaments in the state of Delaware. And anytime you can win this tournament, you've bowled against the best of the best in the state.
This is the, I believe, 19th annual top 20 tournament. A lot of plaudits have to go to Gary Trumbore, the bowling columnist for the News Journal paper. He is instrumental in seeing that this tournament is back up and running after a 1-year hiatus. Sue covers the 10-pin. Last time she left the 10-pin on that lane, she didn't make it, but it really didn't matter. She had already defeated Tricia Renshaw in the semifinal match, 205 to 202, that final count.
Even though she missed it in the 10th frame, I think she probably used that as a learning experience. I bet you don't see her miss it again.
4-pin won't cooperate, and she'll have to bring it in. Talking to herself a little bit. Talking to herself a lot. We should have mic'd her.
Maybe it's good that we didn't.
Once in a while, it's not good to mic the competitors, no matter what the sport may be. She'll change balls and go after the spare. Covers it nicely. So Sue will count 39 in the second with a spare in the third.
It's going to be interesting to watch this match, too, because I noticed that both Kim and Susan are playing pretty much the same area. So it'll be interesting to see if they affect each other or what happens, who reads the area the quickest.
into the pocket, and they all go down. A very direct, straight line by Kim. A little bit of little power with her shot, and a very direct, straight line into the pocket. And that time it's picture perfect, and they all go down. Kim came, she was the #1 seed throughout much of the competition, and really came on like gangbusters in the final 3 games of match play, with games of 242, 234, and 235. And if your math is as good as mine, Ward, it adds up to 7-11. Another prospective sponsor for this event.
That's true. It was closed out the tournament in a very strong style. Once you get there, again, that shows that these ladies have the ability to know what they want to do and get there.
Sue Turchen, by the way, her final 2 games in match play, 238 and 224. So she took care of business. She's got a phone call, but that phone call is going to have to wait a little while because she has some work left to do here in our championship match. You can probably hear the PA in the background every once in a while at Price Lanes.
And as you mentioned, this is a $220 game, so it's not something you want to interrupt your concentration with.
And a lot more than that at stake. She just does kiss that single pin spare. And Kim will count with a 59 through the 3rd and the spare up in the 4th. Sue Turchen working on a spare in the 3rd. She has 39 through 2 with that spare in the 3rd. Good crowd on hand for our championship finals. You can't see a lot of it because a lot of it is sitting off to the high side of the center. Oh, that one got away from Sue. Just got away on the downswing, and she pays for it. And now we'll have a lot of work to do here with this difficult spare.
It's a real delicate area. I've been watching. If you get out past the 7 board or 6 board on the lane, the ball goes real straight. It seems like there's a little bit more conditioner there, and it doesn't allow the ball to hook.
We've seen this washout made earlier in the competition by Tricia Renshaw. This one is not covered. Only a 2-pin count for Sue. We now will go open with 63 through the 4th. Seeing things swinging just a little bit toward Kim Bauer's side right now, but we've still got a lot left here in this championship match of the '97 Delaware Top 20 Women's Tournament. Let's see if Sue can bounce back. Pocket hit and gets the 8-pin to fall late, and we'll be back with the continuation of this title game. Don't go away. We'll be back in just a moment.
And now from the
Back at Price Lanes in Wilmington, Len Holmquist and company with Ward Novak, the secretary of the Wilmington Bowling Association. Kim Bauer is talking with someone in the audience. Both of these young ladies, even though a lot is at stake, Ward seemed to be rather composed.
It was pretty relaxed. They bowled 10 games or 8 games today against each other, so they've been here all day, and they pretty much know each other.
Kim with a very direct line into the pocket, solid hit, and they all go down, and she seems to have things going her way in this title match. She counts 74 through the 4th with a strike up in the 5th. Sue Turchen, 63 through 4. She also with a strike in the 5th, but it's still up for grabs. 16 pins separating the two right now. You mentioned earlier, Kim does have a perfect game. She does have a series of better than 800, 813. A couple of years ago, well, now more than a couple of years ago, a little bit light on that delivery, more than a couple of years ago. 1993, Kim, a 16th place finish in the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour stop at Country Club Lanes down in Baltimore. with a very, very fine showing. 1993 Delaware State singles, doubles, all events titleist. So our top 5 in this championship round, Ward, with a lot of credentials and a lot of youth on their side still.
A lot of youth, and you mentioned that Susan, being the oldest player today, is being inducted this year into both Halls of Fame in Delaware, and I think the other 4 are definitely destined.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, it's only a matter of time before they will join Sue in both of those prestigious halls. Sue Turchen needs to kick it in gear right here. Kim Bowers with a spare just a moment ago. Working on a strike is Sue, a little bit light. And the 7-pin falls belatedly, but she'll take it. She seems to like that light hit. Let them scramble around.
Especially on that right lane. She's got the light hit working on the right lane.
And I think she's talking to herself. We've seen her talk to herself a little bit. And I think one of the things that she runs into trouble with every once in a while, Ward, her feet get a little fast.
Yeah, you see her pick up a little bit of ball speed, and the ball kind of squirts out to the right a little bit on her. That last shot, she was real solid.
She'll try to turkey up here in the 7th frame on lane 3.
This is a super shot.
Best shot of the match, and she needed it. So the pressure is now back on Kim Bowers. Sue Turchen has taken
back up.
She's taken Sue's actually taken a little bit of a lead with that triple. But it's still anybody's match as we move very late into the competition. 7th frame shot on lane 4 for Kim Bowers. A little light. Oh.
There was that area, Len. That's the thing I was talking about with Sue's shot a few frames ago, where she got it just a little bit out, and it kind of squirts down the lane.
Early on in this match, it looked like Kim was going to have things go her way, but now she's in a position where she really needs to make this. Word, she's at least got to really go for it.
Yeah, I don't think she can play safe here. She can't go for 3.
She'll try to kick the head pin over. Doesn't get, or gets too much of the head pin, and will go open. And we'll count 124 through the 7th, and she is in deep trouble because Sue Turchen has a 3-bagger working for her.
Yeah, I think, again, as she did last game, Sue's made some minor adjustments, and she's getting to the pocket really, really well.
Well, last year, Sue Turchen made it to the match play competition in the ladies tour stop in Delaware. Looks like she may be back on her way to at least a complimentary entry into the tournament by virtue of a victory here in the top 20. And Kim's game has just come apart.
I don't think this is unusual. A lot of times what will happen after somebody goes real light, you pull the ball a little bit, trying to get it to the pocket, you direct it a little bit. And I think that's what happened. She got the back-end reaction and went high.
She's not happy, of course, but Sue Turchen is on a roll, striking in the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and up here in the 8th on lane 4, where she likes to play it a little light. Let's see if she'll try to just kiss it into the pocket again. That time she's really solid.
Yeah, she didn't go for the light one that time. She went for the throat.
Yeah, she got the jugular vein in the process, and Sue Turchen is going to be our champion. We'll stay with it to get our final count. She has all but wrapped up this title. She has 4 WASA titles. Match play finalist in the ladies tour stop last year at Holiday Lanes, the Columbia 300 Delaware Open. She'll be inducted into the State Hall of Fame, Women's State Hall of Fame this year, the local Wilmington Women's Bowling Association Hall of Fame. And this just kind of like adds, gets the 4-pin to fall out for her.
That was reminiscent of a Tommy Adkins shot. He used to be a master at tripping the 4-pin. Those that don't remember Tom, he was a top 20 bowler, many-time winner here in Wilmington.
Kim will just try to get out of the way here now as she smacks him down with 10, wants to go out with a little bit of flair. But we are going to have a new top 20 titleist in Susan Turchen, defeating the defending champion Kim Bowers, who really made a great run in the tournament. She was on fire Friday night when the competition began in qualifying at Bolorama.
You might have noticed, too, that last shot, Kim was real relaxed, just let the ball kind of roll. That one was a super ball again.
It's easy to relax when the competition is all but over, and that happens so often. She should be in the 160s here. But all is said and done, really, as far as who is going to win this title. It will be Susan Turchen. We're going to watch her finish out the game and officially claim her title. Oh, Kim wraps it around, and well, that's
gives her a 161.
That's just kind of the way things went here late in this match for Kim, after it appeared that she had things going her way early in the match. Now, Sue Turchen. Final count is all that is to be determined here. She is on a 4-bagger and would like to string some more strikes to put a big number up. Will not get the pins to cooperate, but she's going to win the championship anyway and post the best score in this stepladder finals by far. Makes this spare. If she can make this spare, you'll have a chance to post a score in the upper 2 teens or 220 if she can strike up. Well, she won't cooperate with what I was trying to get her to do. But Susan Turchen is our 1997 Delaware Top 20 Tournament champion, as she receives congratulations from, well, that's Sue Renshaw, Tricia's mom, giving her a hug. Kim Bowers gives her another hug. And as I said, these young ladies, they compete against each other all the time. They always want to win, but they'll be very happy for the other person when they come out victorious. We've seen a historic event here as the Top 20 tournament for the first time has been televised. And Ward, it's been a pleasure working with you.
Well, I appreciate it, Len, and I've had a lot of fun, and I hope the folks that view this at home get a good feel for what bowling's like here in Delaware.
And that'll do it. Our champion is Susan Turchen, 1997 Delaware Top 20 Tournament women's titleist. Money, prestige, and an entry in the upcoming Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour Columbia 300 Delaware Open when it's hosted by Bolorama this September 6th through the 11th in Newcastle. Final score, Sue Turchen 206, Kim Bowers 161. For Ward Novak, this is Len Holmquist. Thank you very much for viewing.